Okay, strap yourselves in for this deep dive.
Yeah, this one's
This one's going to be a tough one.
really gets you thinking.
Yeah, we're going deep into the Daniel Penny case.
Oh, yeah. I remember when this was...
Huge case. Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, all over the news.
Mental health, public safety.
Yeah, and when they kind of...
Yeah, they clash.
collide.
And just...
Yeah, in the most awful way.
Awful way, yeah.
And I think this is a case that really, obviously happened in New York, but it's something that people everywhere need to think about.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it raises questions about, how we handle situations like these.
Yeah, so just to kind of remind everyone, the basics of this case, Daniel Penny is a Marine veteran.
Right.
And Jordan Neely was experiencing homelessness.
Yeah.
And, it all happened on a subway train.
Right. New York City subway.
Penny ends up restraining Neely.
Yeah.
Neely dies.
It's a tragedy for
Yep.
sure. Yeah. And of course, it just led to this, this huge debate, all this legal back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, so to really understand this whole thing, we gotta understand Jordan Neely a little bit better.
Yeah.
He was dealing with homelessness, like you said.
Right.
And he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, so dealing with some pretty serious mental illness there.
Right.
And unfortunately, he also had a history of assault convictions.
Right.
So there's this picture emerging of a man who was really struggling, on a lot of different levels.
Yeah. And then you add in, eyewitness accounts from people who were on that train.
Right.
And they describe, Neely as acting erratically.
Yeah.
And saying things that were, threatening to the other passengers.
Yeah, definitely created a scary and uncertain situation on that train.
Right. So then Daniel Penny steps in.
Yeah, the Marine veteran.
And he decides to physically restrain Neely.
Right. And uses a chokehold.
Right. And this is where everything...
Yeah, and sadly, Neely dies from that.
Right. And this is really where the public just split.
Yeah, totally.
There are people who see Penny as a hero.
Right. Stepping up in this chaotic moment.
Right.
Protecting others.
Protecting people.
Yeah.
And then there are others who view him as a vigilante.
Yeah, taking the law into his own hands.
Right.
Which, in their view, led to Neely's death.
Right.
And the word vigilante gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah, it does.
But I think it's important to really understand what it means.
Yeah.
Legally and ethically, it implies acting outside of the law.
Right.
Taking justice into your own hands.
Without the authority to do so.
Exactly. And whether Penny fits that definition or not
right.
was really at the center of the legal case.
Right. So legally speaking, it gets super interesting here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So Penny Ahanty is initially charged with manslaughter.
Right. So that's recklessly causing someone's death.
Right.
Serious charge.
But then that charge is dismissed.
It is.
So then the prosecution goes for a negligent homicide charge.
Right, which focuses on causing death through carelessness rather than intent.
Right, so there's a difference there.
A big one, yeah. A subtle but crucial difference in the eyes of the law.
So then the jury ultimately acquits Penny of negligent homicide.
Yeah, they seemingly agreed that his actions,
right,
while, leading to a tragic outcome,
right,
didn't meet that legal standard for criminal negligence.
But then you have Penny's own words.
Right.
He gave an interview on Fox News.
He did.
And denied being confrontational with Neely.
Yeah, he insisted that he only intervened to protect others.
Right, and he even said...
Oh, yeah, what was that quote?
He said, and I quote, "I couldn't live with the guilt if someone had been hurt."
Wow, yeah, I remember that.
Though it really seems like he believed he was doing the right thing to protect the other passengers.
But that raises a really big question.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the responsibility to prevent harm falls on individuals like Penny?
Right.
Instead of addressing the bigger systemic issues, like better mental health support.
Right. Things that could help prevent these situations.
Right. Exactly. It's a question with no easy answers.
No. And then, of course, it becomes this political thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
JD Vance, fresh off his VP win.
Oh, yeah.
Invites Penny to the Army-Navy game.
Wow.
Sits with Trump.
Big stage.
Yeah, and Vance praises Penny's courage.
Yeah, he said he thought the prosecution was totally unjustified.
Right, and then you have Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
Who actually financially supports Penny's legal defense.
Wow, so they really put their money where their mouth is.
Right, and that really shows how certain political ideologies...
Yeah, they grabbed onto this case.
Yeah, but I think it's important for us to remember...
For sure.
That, these are the viewpoints of those individuals.
Right.
And it's not necessarily what everyone thinks.
Right. Every side.
This is a complex issue.
Yeah, and so many people have strong feelings about it.
Yeah, it wasn't just about the legal stuff.
No, it was about deeply held beliefs.
Right, about personal responsibility, law enforcement.
and how we deal with mental health crises in our communities.
And this brings us to the big thing here.
Yeah, the elephant in the room.
Mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
Neely's story, sadly, is not unique.
No, unfortunately not.
There are so many people struggling with mental illness,
So many.
and often they don't have the support or the resources that they need.
Yeah, and this case really forces us to confront that reality.
Yeah.
Mental health in public spaces.
How do we balance individual rights
Yeah.
with everyone's safety?
It's like walking a tightrope.
Yeah, simple answers here.
Nope.
We need to think about the big picture here.
A larger context.
What kind of resources are available for people like Jordan Neely?
Yeah. Are we doing enough
Are we doing enough to address mental health?
to be proactive instead of reactive?
Yeah, after a tragedy happens.
Yeah, we got to be asking these questions.
Yeah, and maybe the biggest question of all.
Hit us with it.
How do we create a society that supports people with mental illness,
Right.
but also makes sure that everyone feels safe in public spaces?
That's the goal.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Great.
we're going to leave you with this.
Okay.
Imagine you were on that subway.
Yeah, put yourself in that situation.
How would you react?
Tough one.
And what changes, if any, do you think are needed to deal with these issues?
Yeah, because this is a complex web of issues.
Yeah, so think about it,
Keep thinking about it.
and let's keep talking about it.
Yeah, let's keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Really important.
It is.